floosh cheese song. What did you get? Open up your hee-hee la cassette. Don't worry, parents, it's not a pet. We hope you love your hee-hee la cassette.
Actual hee-hee la cassette do not contain the following: kittens, doggos, or churches.
All right, everyone. My co-host Jessica is with me to help today, and we're going to be doing our baking soda vinegar experiment. So, baking soda is a base, and
vinegar is an acid.
And when you put these together, they make a reaction. And this particular reaction makes extra carbon dioxide come off in the form of bubbles, which is actually kind of the same as the Pepsi Mentos Challenge experiment you guys just did. Well, Jessica, are you ready to get started?
Ready.
All right. So I think our first experiment is going to be how much baking soda makes a bigger reaction. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop some baking soda into my various cups. And Jessica, could you mix about 1 cup of vinegar into our mixing cup there and use whatever food coloring you like?
Okay.
By now, you guys should have several different kinds of food coloring, so you can kind of pick what color you want your lava to be. So we're going to try 3 different amounts of baking soda in our experiment. And you guys don't have to do it this way. You can just have some fun and make a volcano however you like. Your Play-Doh should be bad by now, so that'd be a good thing to make be your volcano. So in our first cup, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon.
Go get a spoon.
Oh, I'm making a mess. Remember to use a baking tray for this experiment or do it outside because this will make a mess. In the middle cup, I'm going to try using 2 tablespoons. And in the third, we're going to do 3. Man, that's looking awfully green. I'm excited.
Yeah. I did 8 drops of green food coloring. Ooh, yeah.
All right, guys, the first step of our experiment is going to test how much 1 tablespoon of baking soda reacts to 1/4 cup of vinegar. But before we do that, do you have a hypothesis or best guess as to what cup's going to react the most?
I think it's going to be this one.
Why do you think that one?
I don't think this one has enough, and I think this one might have too much.
My hypothesis is going to be that the cup with the most is going to have the biggest reaction. So, now we're going to test and see what our results are. Get ready for cup 1.
Oh, I was hoping for an overflow.
That was a pretty good reaction, but it didn't quite overflow. Now we're going to test the middle one with 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Ready?
Ready. Come on, middle.
Well, that was almost exactly the same.
It was pretty close. It's fizzing for longer, though.
Oh, it is fizzing for longer. That's an interesting observation. Huh. All right, well, let's try the third and hope I win.
Oh, it's trying to get over.
So in this one, you can see at the bottom, you can see it slowly start to soak into the baking soda.
Mine fizzed for longer.
Interesting.
So who wins this round?
I don't know. What were some of the observations that you saw with these 3 cups? Or
Well,
things you noticed?
I would say all 3 of them had similar bubbling ups. In the end, I think this one fizzed for longer. And I'm actually surprised that this one did not fizz for very long at all.
This one still seems to have quite a bit at the bottom. I'm going to give it a little shake and see.
Hey, do not test with the, with the experiment.
Yeah, so you don't want to add in extra variables or different things that you're testing. So I would say our experiment is over, and I kind of think they were a tie. They all bubbled to about the same.
I think I won.
All right, guys. Well, that was our test with different amounts of baking soda. What's a different variable we could test?
Well, we could try different amounts of vinegar.
Let's try that. We're going to go ahead and get our experiment cleaned up real quick and come back, and we're going to do different amounts of vinegar. So, We have our experiment set up with our one tablespoon each of baking soda, and Jessica's mixing some more green vinegar. We chose to keep it green because we didn't want to change the variable in case it was the different colors that made a difference. What would you like to start with? Do you think we should start with a cup or a quarter cup?
Let's work our way up.
All right, so we'll start with a quarter cup of vinegar. Do you want to pour them in this time?
Yes.
Let's start from the same side.
Ready?
Let's do it. That was very similar to the first time we did that experiment because we had a tablespoon in here and a quarter cup.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that it was the same. Let's try the half cup next.
Alrighty.
And if you guys hadn't noticed, I'm wearing the shirt from my Hee Hee La cassette. It's something you can wear for these kind of projects in case it gets messy. All right, let's see the middle one. So this is with a half a cup. Oh no!
No!
Wow, that definitely overflowed, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And it looks like it almost contaminated the next cup, but not quite. So I think it'll be okay.
I think we're good.
Wow. Now I'm definitely glad I'm wearing this shirt. So be so careful with this one.
Ready?
Ready.
Ah! It's still going!
Pour it in, pour it in.
Ah! Oh no!
Wow. I think we know which one reacted the hardest.
Yeah.
All right, so what were our observations from this one? I would say this cup reacted the same as in the first part of the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And this one definitely reacted quite a bit with half a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put the cups in front. Can hardly see the little guy. And I think the most obvious large reaction was when we used a cup of vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some conclusions to our experiments or some things that we might have noticed. Let's talk about in our first experiment when we were seeing if the amount of baking soda mattered. We had 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, and 3 tablespoons, and we used just a quarter cup of vinegar each time. What would you conclude from that first part? Do you think it made a difference?
I don't think it made much of a difference. I think it just kind of, it made it fizz, but they all kind of look the same.
I would say so too. And then in our second experiment, we kept the baking soda the same with just 1 tablespoon in each, and we changed the amount of vinegar. And I would conclude that made a huge difference.
Yes.
So, I think if you want a bigger reaction, you should use not too much baking soda and extra vinegar. What do you think?
I think that is correct.
Well, guys, so we did this in an experiment fashion, but if you put a cup in the middle of some dirt or some rocks and you build it up along the edge, you can build it up around the cup and put your baking soda in that, and then pour your vinegar on top, and what do you get?
A volcano!
That's right. Well, guys, Hayamasi Puschagu, and I got a jet so Jessica can clean up this experiment.
Excuse me?
The following resources are available in our community. If you need help with food, you can reach out to the food pantry at 503-879-FOOD. Other resources can be found on this list.
Hee Hee La Cassette productions are filmed in front of a live studio audience.